Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where we are doing some very rare NBA content on here as the NBA trade deadline just happened. And kind of the schedule of this video is going to go through the two big ones first, the Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant trade, and then we'll go through all the rest of the trades. And then we'll discuss how the shifting of this very massive trade deadline impacts the Milwaukee Bucks and their chances to win an NBA title. But first, let's get off with the first big domino to fall in Kyrie Irving being traded from the Brooklyn Nets to the Dallas Mavericks to pair up with Luka Doncic to give him a real star talent next to him. There are some concerns for me personally about them both being pretty ball heavy. Be interested to see how they work out. And also with Kyrie's tendency to, be Kyrie. Very, very talented player, but he sometimes gets in his own way a lot. And also a warning sign for Dallas is that he did not sign a contract with them. So there's a good chance that he might leave in the offseason regardless of what happens with Dallas. But let's see what the actual trade went down. Brooklyn receives two really good role players in Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith, 2 second-round picks, and a 2029 first-round pick completely unprotected. And Dallas gets Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris. Be interesting to see how that happens. And now Dallas has a good shot at being a real true contender out in West. That's kind of been a mush of basically Denver and everyone else kind of just all mushed together like that. And to get out of that mush, the Phoenix Suns got Kevin Durant without giving up any of the other main pieces like Chris Paul or DeAndre Ayton. And, oh, jeez. Can you imagine that offense fully healthy? CP3, even though he's definitely aging, being a ball distributor to Devin Booker and Kevin Durant? Are you kidding me? That is absolutely insane. Definitely makes Phoenix very, very scary when they are fully healthy. Offensively, I don't think anyone could really stand up to them in the West with that lineup. So the detail of the trade, the Suns get Kevin Durant and TJ Warren, while Brooklyn gets Mikal Bridges, a really good young player. So that's the main piece that Phoenix is losing. They're also giving Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, who we'll discuss later on in the video, 4 first-round picks and a 2028 pick swap. So the thing is with Brooklyn, they're betting that by the time these 4 picks are actually available, that the Suns will be on the decline with like Durant edging out, CP3 definitely being retired by then, Booker and Ayton, we'll see what they're doing. But, man, that is absolutely insane that they were able to pull that off and get Kevin Durant. And that basically leaves Brooklyn with just Ben Simmons and a bunch of other guys. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle in the playoffs, if they even make the playoffs anymore. And so let's get to the remaining NBA trade deadline buzz. Starting here. Damian Lillard not being on the table. Nothing there. The Celtics required Mike Muscala for 2 second-round picks and Justin Jackson to the Thunder. So, again, the Thunder are just getting 2 more picks for a decent three-point shooter who has been doing pretty well as a reserve. So, Muscala is a depth piece for the Boston Celtics. And the Milwaukee Bucks are trading for Jay Crowder, which is very interesting. The Bucks are getting Jay Crowder. Brooklyn is getting 5 second-round picks, which is insane. And the Indiana Pacers get Jordan Nwora and Serge Ibaka, which isn't too big for the Bucks in terms of Serge Ibaka because he hasn't played due to personal reasons and gets 2 second-round picks. But Jordan Nwora is a pretty decent role player. But the Bucks will get a very excellent wing player, 3-and-D guy. We know how he is because we saw him against us in the NBA Finals 2 years ago. Good player. Like to trade it, and we also get AJ Green and Marjon Beauchamp some more playing time, which I think will also be good. So really good there. The Lakers trade Thomas Bryant to the Denver Nuggets for Devon Reed and 3 second-round picks. Nothing too big there. Kind of a big deal. The Blazers got Matisse Thybulle from the Philadelphia 76ers in exchange for Jalen McDaniels and 2 second-round picks. And the Charlotte Hornets get Siv, I don't know how to pronounce that, and 2023 second-round pick. And then the Blazers also traded Josh Hart to New York Knicks in exchange for Cam Reddish and a future first round pick. Thibault is not really a great offensive guy, but he is an excellent defender. So they got a really good defender coming off the bench there for Portland. Also, another rumor is that the Bucks are trading away George Hill to the Pacers for a second round pick. So, not really. Bucks fans aren't really too concerned about that, as George Hill was kind of like a guy who was just there, decent 3-point shooter, but a terrible defender, and a guy who's kind of redundant with a couple other good like distributors that we have. And of course, did I not pull up the Westbrook trade? Yeah, Russell Westbrook got traded. Let's pull it up. Yes, so as well, the Lakers are trading away Russell Westbrook, ending that whole experiment in a 3-team deal in which the Lakers received D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt from the Timberwolves. And Minnesota gets Mike Conley from Utah, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and 3 second-round picks. And Utah gets Russell Westbrook, who they are waiving, so they're not dealing with him. Juan DeCosta Anderson, Damian Jones, and a 2027 first-round pick. So that also happened in the NBA, which is interesting. But we'll see who picks up Westbrook. I don't think anyone really wants him, to be honest, because he's kind of a ball hog, not really a good team player. But it'd be interesting to see where he goes. The Clippers got guard Bones Highland. That is an awesome name for 2 second-round picks. He was all rookie second teamer last year, as you see on the screen. So the Clippers are getting some more depth help there. And Thunder trade Darius Bazley to the Suns in exchange for Dario Saric and a second-round pick. Again, getting another pick for the Thunder. Absolutely insane. They could be a big player in the offseason for guys. And the Warriors are trading away the former number 2 overall pick to Detroit Pistons. So the Pistons are getting James Wiseman, the former number 2 overall pick, for in exchange for Kevin Knox from the Pistons and the 5 second-round picks via the Hawks. And the Hawks receive Saddiq Bey, who had a decent 2020, who has been doing pretty good. But it'd be interesting to see how Wiseman does in a new environment where he's not being expected to be like this really big piece of the Dynasty Warriors. So, see how that happens. And the Rockets are dealing a couple players to 2v2 for the Hawks and Rockets, where the Hawks get Garrison Matthews and Bruno Fernando, where the Rockets get Frank the Tank Kaminsky and Justin Holiday. So just player swap, get a couple second-round picks. And this apparently just happened too, and the Clippers and Grizzlies are adding the backcourt, where the Clippers are getting Eric Gordon, who is a solid 3-point shooter, and 3 second-round picks. The Grizzlies received Luke Kennard, who I saw play in high school. He went to the same conference as my high school, so interesting to see. And the Rockets are getting John Wall and Danny Green, and rights to the Bucks pick with Clippers 2023. So John Wall's going back to Houston. Oh, jeez. Poor John Wall. Can't get away from that. Pelicans trade Devontae Graham and 4 future second-round picks to the Spurs for Josh Richardson. Lakers get Mo Bamba in exchange for Pat Beverly, future second-round pick and cash. So, interesting to see how he does there in LA. The Clippers get Mason Plumlee from the Hornets for Reggie Jackson and a second-round pick. And the Warriors get back Gary Payton II for 5 second-round picks from the Blazers. And that's pretty much all that has happened in the NBA trade deadline. So how does that impact the Bucks? Well, for one, we don't have to worry about Brooklyn anymore, as they traded away their top 2 players. So they're down to Ben Simmons and a couple other role guys. Should start to fall off. So our main competition is now Philadelphia, Boston, and Cleveland. So pretty good from our standing. And Cleveland and Philly didn't really add too much to the roster, and Boston kind of only made a trade, so really not too much there. But the Bucks have some major moves made, as we trade away 2 pieces of our active bench in George Hill and Jordan Nwora, and we got rid of Serge Ibaka because he wasn't really wanting to be on the team anymore. And we got a really good guy who kind of can be like this year's version of P.J. Tucker for us, and where he can play good defense, be a good 3-point shooter in Jay Crowder, who I think would be a really key piece off of this bench. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But the West, oh boy, the Western Conference has gotten really interesting with Durant and Kyrie Irving getting over there. Westbrook's on my mind for the Lakers trade. And so, yeah, Phoenix and Dallas are now, I think, two of the top 3 teams in the West potentially. I think Denver is still really, really talented. And so it's going to be interesting to see how fast those 2 teams gel with the new pieces in there. Because that's going to determine how well they do in the playoffs. Phoenix gave up a lot in exchange for KD. But if they can bring him a championship, it's going to be all worth it. But honestly, I think the Bucks are still fine. I think they can still beat any team in the NBA in a 7-game series. And so I don't think there's nothing too much to worry about in terms of being a Bucks fan. Well, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below about this trade deadline. Pretty wild, to be honest. But one I think definitely the Bucks benefit from, especially within our own conference. And so I'll see you guys again very soon.